Okay, welcome everybody. I just want you guys to have a little bit of a check here on what we're going to be looking for on one of our trades. I want to show you there is a pattern forming that we trade often. So I will show you exactly what it looks like on the pound Swiss franc. Okay, so we're going to jump down into trading view. I really like the software, guys. It really helps a lot to do this because you get notifications. When this happens, guys, we always just want to make sure that we come back to the market and look at it. Okay, so right now what is happening in this chart is we are having a trend line liquidity. Okay, as you guys can see, I drew this trend line and now we're starting to take all the money that's here. So this is a correction phase that we are looking for the big movement back down. Okay, now guys, a lot of the time people will trade these according to structure and points in the market, and this is where a lot of people get screwed. And I think a lot of the time everyone's trying to trade support and resistance, which is very good. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying when you find these areas, just look to the side. You can always see if it's struggling to move around in these areas with lots of wicks. It normally means there's orders here. So people are placing stop limits, buy stops or sell limits and everything in this area. That's what the market tends to do. It will move straight up into this area and take out all of this money for the actual movement back down from the supply zone. So I want to make sure that you guys are seeing this the same way I am. And on top of this, we're also seeing an incredible movement on another pair, which is I think it's the British pound and the New Zealand dollar. I'm just going to double click on it. Yes, this is the one I actually wanted to show you guys. So guys, as you see, the market had hit this area and then fell and then came back for retest and then dropped. So now this is a incredible opportunity for us to get into this trade, and I'm going to break it down from top to bottom for you guys. Remove everything. Let's start on the highest time frame, and I'm going to just basically explain what I'm doing. So guys, when we look at this market, we can definitely see there is a movement in this direction. We've also done something very important in the market, which is we have basically broken the structure over here, which is what I like to say, break of structure. I'll just label it accordingly. Oh, there we go. So we've broken that structure. But now also what needs to happen, guys, in the market is it needs to have a retracement. We need to have some sort of liquidity happening in order for us to actually catch this movement. But what I'm seeing now is that we have made new highs, okay, but we haven't actually gone and tested any of these areas on the left hand side yet. So we still have the possibility of this market moving up, so about there in the long term. But right now, what I'm seeing is a possibility for the market to move back down to a high level of demand. So I would say is about here. Okay, let me just take this away so you guys don't think it's a trend line. And this is what I am seeing now from a higher perspective. So we're going to just highlight this area and make it a demand zone. Here's my templates. Again. And just make it the demand zone. So you guys see, I'm working in a high time frame first before I do anything. Now, when we do this kind of strategy, all we're doing is we're looking for high-end engulfing candles. So if I needed to show you guys what that looks like, this is basically what we are looking for. If that's a small candle, okay, I'm just going to make the wick. Let's do this. Okay, let's change that to now it's straighter, and let's make it thicker so it looks a little better. Okay guys, so we have one of those candles. Now what we're looking for in this situation is we're looking for a sell-off candle, which is much bigger than this. Okay? So we want to see a candle that totally eclipses that, and it looks like that. I'm just going to change it to the colors that I have to make it understandable. Oopsie daisy, nothing correct. Wasn't supposed to do that. Let's go back to black, and then let's go the interior needs to be white. Okay, so now it looks like my graphs. Okay guys, so this is the kind of pattern I trade. Just a small candle totally engulfed by your other candle. It doesn't mean that it needs to be a bearish and a bullish and a bearish candle. It can be any kind of candle next to each other. It's just a two, we call it a two candle stick pattern. Okay, so that is what we are trying to look for, guys. So here we go. Make that a little bit bigger for you. 14, actually bigger. It's a two candlestick pattern that we're looking for. Okay, so when we find these, we want to trade them, but also in line with what's happening. So if this technically looks like it's a buy zone, but we still haven't actually gotten high enough for it to be a really good buy. So normally when markets break a structure, then we know we are ready to do something. So I'm seeing the fact that this has broken here, and we've basically come into here, and it looks like the market wants to take out all the orders that are listed in here, okay, for the big movement later. And I'm very keen to see if this plays out. So I'm going to label this area as liquidity, and then I'm going to trade it accordingly. So this phase that we are in, guys, can sometimes be called a correction. So when we're trading, what happens is we have market movements like this, okay, and then sometimes they find an area and then they break structure and then they start to move the opposite way, okay. So while this is happening, we need to know what phase we're in. So are we in this movement going up, or are we in a retracement, what do you call it again? Are we in a reversal? So we need to look at it. And then can you guys see, look, we've had this area touched twice here. It's dropped, it's broken the structure at the bottom here. So this is the kind of pattern we're looking for now. But the way we do this pattern, the way we see this pattern is, this is what I want you guys to look for. So sometimes the markets will do this, okay, and then now everyone thinks it's good to buy at this level, which is good. It's not bad, it's the structure. But what we are looking for is the break of the low, which is already done, and then with the pullback, one more pullback to that level, and then another movement back up. And we need to find this pattern over here. Okay, so this is all we're trying to do. We're trying to find that pattern over there inside this area. So what I'm going to do for you guys is just draw that out. Okay, so once we have done all of these little small things on the higher time frame, now what we want to do is just make sure that we can see, oh, okay, I can see, can you see this, guys? Look, big candle, small candle. So just a two-stick candlestick pattern. That's a good opportunity for us to sell the market. So just for my own reason, just for my own sake, I normally would put a line here just to show structure in the market, and then just to see, is there anything relevant? Yes, there is one down there. And then I'll change this to my entry level line, and there we go. It looks like we're actually making some beautiful structured drawing. See, guys, so once we have all of these things in place, it just makes it a lot easier for you to then maneuver, to understand that, like, you don't need to get into a trade so easily or quickly, and it alleviates all the stress that you'll probably go through. Okay, so I'm just trying to make this look as neat as possible. I think that looks good. Okay, so let's jump down into a lower time frame, and we can keep doing this. So there we go, guys. We're just constantly doing this. We're looking for a break of the area, okay, on a lower time frame, and now we can see that's happened. Now all we need is the movement to be completed, which means it needs to touch here and then pull back to here, and then we go higher into the time frame, and we look, do we have any of those patterns I've been looking at? We actually do. So guys, this is basically a doji candle. Okay, it hasn't totally eclipsed it properly, which is also a good reason to say, okay, don't risk too much money here. When we take this trade, guys, we also want to have our stop losses higher than that high. Okay, so it's a very important trade to make sure you don't risk too much on. Okay, because there's not a high probability trade yet. So I'm going to just label this my supply zone, and then now I have my plan already waiting. Okay, that is what I'm looking for today. I really do think it's a great one, and the possibility of this trade going is literally down to here, guys. That's what I think could play out. Bear in mind, it's still a bullish structure, but because we have broken a significant level, I'm going to look for a sell, and then I will basically re-E my trade as soon as it touches this level again and hold to the bottom. If it comes back up and knocks me out, it's totally cool. There is a possibility, guys, of a retracement buy here also. So remember, like I said, we're going to have a movement back down, possible buy area to the higher level. So what we need to also do then is just make sure that if we are going to be selling here and most probably having a bounce here, then let's go and do more of a click. Do we see any of these eclipsing or engulfing candles? Okay, so now if you're looking for, let me just pull this down, where is it? So those candles, this candle pattern, which we've already identified on a high level, what we want to do is just go and make sure that we have a, what am I saying? You're going to look for a very similar concept down here. Okay, so let's go quickly into, I would even say, let's go into 2 hours and just double check what we've seen here. Do we have any of these candlestick patterns that are happening? And I'll show you the inverted possibility trade. So I don't like the fact that this looks like this. We don't have a massive engulfing candle except for over here, and it's already touched and moved up. So all we're going to do with this one is use this line here. Make sure that we know that's a low. Okay, and we're just going to let the market play out here. It's a great trade from here to there, but because it doesn't have any of my actual trading patterns, I'm not going to do it. And guys, it's sometimes like, okay, cool, this just means like it's not the same as the one I've just shown you, like this, where the entire wick and candle are inside. All that basically means is that this area isn't a very high probability trade in comparison to, like, if we look at this one. Can you see this is why it dropped so much? Because if we just look to the left over here, see it was fully engulfed, it's inside, and it entered the area and dropped. So we're just literally looking for the next low. But that being said, guys, this entire area here could have a massive pull up and liquidation of this entire area. So I want you guys to make sure that this area here, you understand that we have to make sure that this could be something called a SMS, which is a shift in market structure. Okay, so that's what I want to put there. Just make sure I remember that SMS over there. And we're going to make sure that when we take this trade, let's just double check that it is decent enough. So we're going to enter around here, and we're going to try to push it just to the bottom here. We're going to take some partials, okay? And then you see your stop loss has to be quite high, guys. So let's see if this is even worth the trade. We have your 286 pip movement and a 80 pip stop loss. So what I might do is just put it a little bit lower, and I'll take that risk. So now I'm doing it at 50, which technically means I'll have a 5x on my trade. Remember though, guys, we're actually looking to go down here, but the worst thing possible is to take a trade and wait for the incredible long movement. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take this trade. If it moves in our direction, as soon as it gets to halfway, we BE, take some partials, and then watch the market move down there if possible. Okay, so that is what I'm going to be looking at with a pound New Zealand dollar, but it can also happen, guys, here on pound chef. Okay, so I really like pound chef more than anything else, because you see, when we get this kind of trade, there's a lot of money that's been taken out of the market, but also it means there's a lot of people wanting to sell this entire area here. So again, looking for the pattern, it's not identical, but we're still seeing a really good formation here. Then when I go to the 4 hour, let's double check. Okay, same thing, we still have an eclipsing engulfing candle. Not best, but all that it means, guys, if the wick is doing that, you need to be putting your stop loss higher. Okay, brilliant candle pattern strategy that I've learned, and I really do think that most people can adopt this into their trading strategy, long-term orientated. Okay, if there's anything else I wanted to jump into here, perfect, another one. The CAD, we just had good CPI news for this. As you guys see, it hit my demand zone, flew off. I didn't take this trade, guys, because I actually got knocked out on that wick. But the cool thing is I have a sell setup and I have a buy setup already waiting for me. So So I find the liquidities. Now we've had a break of structure on these two levels, and all we're going to do is rinse and repeat. So now that we've had a break of that structure, now a retracement down to this area will be a great idea. But first of all, what we need to do is we need to find that candle pattern. I don't see it. Can you guys see? There's one here, but it's not strong enough. We don't want to just trade any kind of trade. There's a beautiful one there, but because of where this is situated, I won't trade that. I'll only trade that one. And that's a beautiful, that is literally, guys, that is the epitome of what I'm trying to show you in T2. This entire trade is based on that. Okay. That's cool. Anyway, that is what you do, guys. So what I will do, therefore, is literally put a alert here, and then I'll tell myself, this is a type 1 4-hour sell zone. Okay. And I'll tell myself, cool. That's it now. You don't have to worry about it. Okay. If we go back to the daily, do we see any of those other areas? Do we see anything that could possibly happen? You see how this area got wicked and then it shot up. A lot of the times, guys, this happens due to news. And I want to show you that that actually did happen. If we do go here and I go to Forex Factory, we'll probably have had Australian dollar news, and you see those are positive. Okay, so these news impacts push the market in a certain way, and we now need to deduce what could happen. So good strong movement up, but we can still see very powerful possibilities of a sell. And like I've said to you guys, we always need to figure out what kind of trend we're in. Until we break that high, we're still bearish on the long term, but you can see there's a lot of power going up. So we just need to deduce what's happening. And I still think this is a strong sell more than a buy. So I'll be waiting for the sell area. Even though there's been good dollar news, good pound dollar, there's been good Australian news. So that means we'll get a push, but guys, technicals normally win most of the time. Forex news pushes the market in a certain direction, and then the technicals will take over, because a lot of people don't actually trade news. Most traders are actually technical orientated, so they don't actually even trade news. You get a lot of traders that like the news, but for me, I've noticed that technicals win the bet. So for the ORD card, we're going to be looking for sells, and then also on the NZD, we look for sells, and on top of that, we're going to be looking for sells on, I think it was a share, yes, and the GBP share. As you guys can all see, all of these trades are all looking very similar. So it's just all about timing. I'm not really worrying too much about it. Let's double check this one's parameters with regards to how high it is in conjunction. And as you guys can see, also we have had a beautiful drop at a very similar area to a previous high. So my understanding of the markets basically then therefore say, okay, if that's happened historically, then the possibility of this market moving up into this area and dropping again back down to another engulfing candle buy is what we're going to do. So we just rinse and repeat every single time. There's no need to confuse yourself with it. We are doing what we do. This is all based on a crazy rally and then a massive drop. But we want to be a part of the next drop. Yeah, when there's a massive rally going up, we want to be a part of that one. And I can show you guys here, this was also a very, very similar trade opportunity. And you can see how well it played out. Here's demand on a high time frame. We have an engulfing candle. I'll go in here just to show you quickly. There it is, perfectly situated on the daily. Market moves in, touches the area, and then moves out. Okay, look at how beautiful this is. That's it. So impulsive movement, trade comes back down. We need some liquidity from the left-hand side. There's also some liquidity on this side here, guys. Wherever there's wicks, there's liquidity. Look how the market came in, wicked it out, and started moving. So that's a great example of what could happen here. Okay, but in an inverted way. So the market will move all the way up here into this area and then cut off. So we just need to wait for the market to enter that area. And then I'll just tell myself, okay, type 1. So 4-hour period. Check. And I'm done. Okay. And that's it, guys. That's all you need to understand about it. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. and I'll catch you guys soon. Sweet.